What's going on YouTube world? Austin Zaback here with another video, and in this video we're going to talk about the 3 mistakes that every single entrepreneur makes in their career that nobody's talking about here on YouTube. If you've been an entrepreneur for any time at all, then you'll know, just like I do, that depending on who you ask, everybody has a different story that they tell, right? There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and at the end of the day, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, come on, let's get real for a minute. Mistakes are inevitable. You're not just gonna go out there and become successful and make $1 million and the graph look perfectly linear all the way from here to success and nothing go wrong. I mean, that's just not the reality of it. The reality of it is you're gonna make mistakes and things are gonna go wrong. But the key is for you is to shorten that as much as you can, to condense the amount of mistakes that you'll make. I know that a lot of guys out there are gonna tell you that their biggest regrets are investing in Bitcoin, dating that Instagram model because she took all of your money, spending a down payment's worth on tables at clubs, spending that $20,000 you were supposed to put down on your house on a table at a club. Look, at the end of the day, there's a lot of mistakes that I've made on my journey to becoming an entrepreneur, to becoming a business owner, and to being able to do what I've been able to do. I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to speak on stages. I've been able to mentor other people, to create online courses, to talk to you here today, to be able to scale multiple different companies to 6 and even 7 figures. And along my journey to what some may call success, you know, I've experienced a lot of failure, a lot of setbacks, and a lot of things that ideally, if you watch this video and obviously smash the like button, you might not have to experience yourself. Now here's the deal. I've been in a bunch of different industries. So before you click off of the video, you're like, Austin, I'm in Shopify, or I'm doing Amazon FBA, or I'm an insurance agent, a car salesperson, I'm building a funnel, creating courses on how to make a course, or whatever it is that you do. One thing that I want you to understand is that these 3 tips, right, these 3 biggest mistakes that every entrepreneur makes comes from all different industries. I'm talking people from every walk of life. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Tip number 1 is hiring slow and firing fast. So many people do this the other way around. They hire fast and they fire slow. And I'm telling you right now that that will cost you a ton of money. It might even cost you your business. It could cost you your relationships. It could cost you a bunch of other things like mental health, just your overall mental wherewithal or your mental capacity. Look, at the end of the day, people will either prove themselves to be the right person or they will prove themselves to be the wrong person within a matter of about 4 to 6 weeks. My mentor once told me, they said, Austin, look, hiring the right people is like financing talent. Essentially, it's not 40 or 50 or 60 grand out of your pocket every single year. It's just a matter of paying their monthly salary until that investment pays off. Essentially, what he was saying is Austin, stop looking at their salary every single year and being freaked out with this big crazy number that you probably can't even afford in the beginning. What he was saying is instead to take that salary and to break it up into months, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not paying them a year at a time. You're typically paying bi-weekly or monthly. Taking that salary and breaking it down to actually being able to look at it and be a bit more comfortable with what you're actually about to pay that employee. And then understanding that if they're the right employee, within, on average, about 4 to 6 weeks, you're gonna know. Put it this way, it's either going to be an investment or it's going to be an expense. Now, typically, if it's an investment, that means you hired the right person. It paid off, right? You paid their salary, they came onto your team, and they added value to you and your organization. They took initiative and they did things that you weren't doing. Or maybe things that you didn't even know you should have been doing, but they came into your organization and they thought of new ideas, new strategies, new techniques, and they went out and they applied them into your business without you actually even having to take any mental energy to come up with those ideas. The alternative to that is it ends up being an expense. You hire the wrong person. They come into your organization and they don't help you. They take from you. They take time. They take money. They take energy. They take all of these different things, and that is an expense. And what so many people do, and what I hope that you won't do after watching this video, is keeping those people in your organization. at the end of the day, they're not adding any value. And what happens a lot of times is, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you want to create a person, right? You want to mold them, and you want to be able to get them to be exactly who you want them to be. The reality of the situation is that people typically don't change. So as much as you want them to change, and as much as you want them to succeed and grow and evolve into this person that you want them to be, 9 times out of 10, if they're not that person within 4 to 6 weeks, they're never going to be that person, and you need to let them go. Now, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they're not a good fit for you and your team. It means they're not a good fit for your future family, your future business, just for you in general. And again, I understand that firing people is tough. Letting go of people is never easy, and I get it. I've had to do a lot of that myself, and I absolutely hate it. Till this day, I hate walking into a meeting room and having to let somebody go. As a matter of fact, there's not a whole lot of things that I hate more than doing that. But at the end of the day, look at it this way. You're doing them a disservice by not letting them go. Because if they're on your team and they're not contributing and adding value to you in your life, then ultimately you're not going to be able to add value to them and their life. And it's automatically a lose-lose situation. So by you just keeping them on your team because you're scared of letting them go is actually doing everybody a disservice. And you need to ultimately just let them go and let them move on. Let them go and do something that maybe they were better off doing to begin with. Mistake number 2 is not taking personal development seriously sooner. Look, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own life. You're responsible for your own success. You're responsible for your own future. You know, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? So many people, they go to the gym and they work out their biceps and they work out their triceps and they lift a bunch of iron and they do all these different things, but they don't ever work out their brain. I think as humans it's really interesting because we live in a world where it's all a big vanity metric essentially, and what we look like on the outside is so much more important than what we look like on the inside. But the reality of it is that that is a massive mistake as an entrepreneur. I mean, my mentor once told me that the most expensive real estate in the world that you'll ever own is the 6 inches between your ears. He said, Austin, he said, you could achieve all of the success in the world. You could acquire all of the money, accumulate all of the treasure that you possibly can here on earth. All of the cars, all of the jewelry, all of the houses, the boats, the helicopters, the airplanes. He goes, at the end of the day, none of that means anything as long as nobody can take the 6 inches between your ears. At the end of the day, if you lost all of that, right? You accumulated everything and then you lost it all because nobody can take away the knowledge and wisdom that you've acquired in the 6 inches between your ears. You need to understand that your brain is a muscle. As a matter of fact, it is the most important muscle in your entire body. I mean, think about it for a minute. You're sitting there, you're watching this video, and you work out, right? Do you go to the gym once every year and expect to just stay big for the rest of the year? I mean, really, do you walk into the gym for a half an hour and pump some iron and lift some weights and then say, okay, well, I'm good till 2021? I mean, come on, can you imagine how crazy that would be if that was the case? Well, that's what a lot of entrepreneurs do with their mindset. They read a book and they call it a day. They listen to a video and they call it a day. They go through one course and they call it a day. They go to one coaching program, one Tony Robbins event, one landmark forum type event, and they call it a day. And the reality of it is, there's no better way to get stuck, like literally dead in your tracks, by doing that. You've got to understand that personal development is the #1 key ingredient to success. I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care what you do. If you're not training this muscle right here, you will never become successful. Remember, things happen for you and not to you. Knowing that, wouldn't you want to be your highest and best form all the time? I mean, in every situation, even the deepest valleys that you could possibly go through. I mean, I know that I've been through a ton of valleys. I've gone and I've experienced a massive amount of defeat, a massive amount of failure, a massive amount of setback, but all of that was just preparing me for a massive comeback. But I was always able to see the good in every bad situation. I was able to look in the valley and I was able to see that next mountaintop, right? I was able to see things that other people weren't able to see. When a lot of people would have been down and out and they would have given up and they would have quit, I was able to see the light at the end of the tunnel because I did so much personal development. See, I understand that bad things are going to happen to good people, and good things are going to happen to bad people, and it just is what it is, and that everything is happening for me and not to me, so that I understand and I expect valleys to happen. That way when they do, I'm able to understand and realize more often than not in the moment why that valley is happening. I'm able to look at it with a little bit of a different perspective, a different viewpoint. Typically, I'm able to look at it objectively. I'm able to look at it kind of in a bird's eye point of view. And that has helped me tremendously. The self-help industry is estimated to be worth $13 billion by 2022. I mean, come on. An industry like that, you can imagine that it is extremely important to focus on your mindset. All right, mistake number 3 that every entrepreneur makes is getting caught up in the now money. Shiny object syndrome will be the downfall of millennials. This may seem contradictory coming from an entrepreneur like me, but I'm aware of the extreme value that comes from being intentional in your choices, remaining committed, and most importantly, putting in the hard work. Look, here's the problem. We live in a world dominated by social media, right? I mean, you're watching this video right now, a YouTube video. You've never actually met me, but here I am giving you advice on different things to do and not to do. You probably look at my Instagram or people like me's Instagram, and a lot of times we're showing a highlight reel, right? We're showing what it's like to live the quote-unquote good life. But very rarely, and myself included, we fail to actually highlight the bad things. We fail to show our audience sometimes some of the downfalls, some of the valleys. And I mean, it's not all bad. At the end of the day, a lot of people would probably unfollow guys like us if we were just negative all the time. So it's kind of a catch-22 because we have to be positive. We want to make sure that we're instilling positivity into people. The drawback to that is that a lot of people tend to think that it's all sunshine and rainbows, that there are no valleys, that we don't go through hard times, there are no hardships, we don't make any mistakes. And let me tell you, that couldn't be further from the truth. We make a ton of mistakes. I make more mistakes than probably a lot of you watching this right now. So before you get caught up in comparing to every other person in your industry, in your niche, to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your aunt, your uncle, your friend, your business partner, all the people on social media, on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, right? TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, take a step back and compare to where you were yesterday. Compare only to how far you've come. Stop comparing on how far you have to go. I get it. It's really tough. And I understand, I'm a culprit. I do it too, right? I'm always constantly looking around me like, what's that guy doing? And what's that guy doing? And how can I do this better? And how can I, optimize that business a little bit better? And how can I work harder? How can we make more money, right? How can we increase our profit margin? I totally get it. It's kind of an insane world that we live in at the end of the day. But I'm telling you right now, don't get caught up in the now money. Remember, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, it takes time. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. A lot of times it even takes a decade. A decade to achieve something that honest and truly, if you talk to your dad or your grandpa or your grandma, probably would have taken a lifetime. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, we still live in the 21st century. A world where we have an internet and we have Google. A world where, many times we can take something that would have potentially taken 30 or 40 or 50 years and condense it into 5 or 10. So stop trying to think that you need to make $1 million in your first 6 months of business. But I'm telling you, from my own experience, I've been in real estate for the last 6 or 7 years. During that time, I've had friends in several industries reach their peaks significantly faster than I have. Here's a fun and slightly depressing statistic for you. The average real estate transaction takes anywhere from 60 to 90 days. I can't say that I know exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure that Shopify, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing takes significantly less time to see a paycheck. But the times that I've gotten caught up in the comparison game and wandered over to those other industries, it's always done more bad than good. Not only did I find that now money isn't sustainable or scalable, I also discovered that my passion for real estate kept pulling me back every single time. And when I got back into real estate, I was further behind than my competition, and it was pretty clear that my shiny object syndrome was a complete disadvantage to me. The lesson here is to be committed. Stick to that company you believe in so fully. The grass is not greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Austin Zaback, and if you have not already, go ahead and smash that like button, click that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Also, drop in the comments section down below what you would like to see in a future video, and I look forward to seeing you there.